Call this meeting to order at 3:12. And Councilman Smith, you want to do us the order?
It would help us get through this meeting. I didn't make any mistakes. It would help us with all our troubles we got, help pull it together. Amen.
Amen. All right. Shannon, do your roll call.
Yes, sir. David Watkins.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
Bill England.
Honey.
Austin.
Here.
Harley Bezer. Joe Byrd.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis. Present. Wanda Hatfield. Honey. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambach.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw. Honey. E.O. Smith.
Here.
Janice Taylor. Here. Victoria Vasquez. Honey. We have a quorum.
All right, thanks, Shelley. I hear a motion to approve the minutes November 13th, 2017.
So moved.
So move. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Down in reports, we got vocational programs. Did we say that right, Ms.
Yes.
Kelly? Talking Leaves, Job Corps, Career Services.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Mike Shambo said don't talk very long because he was going to start timing me. So I promise I won't talk long. Dr. Graham kind of told you a little bit about one of the things that we were doing. We had our second planning meeting with him and the health department and the IT department, and trying to start recruiting for some of the training that's going to be needed for the new hospital or the new health facility. And we had a really good meeting, and we'll continue having meetings. So anyway, he told you a little bit about it because I was watching the video. So that was the only committee I watched. It's the only one I was really interested in today. So.
Well, you guys already have a nursing program, don't you?
Yes,
Over at
we
your
do.
department?
Jan
Yeah.
Grogan, yes. And
Is there
we're-
any other talk?
we're actually going to, we looked at some of the specialty positions that they've got. If we can actually start working with them in the first 2 years, then they could be passed off to higher education for the last, if they need like 3 years or 4 years. But we can start working with some of those specialty positions.
Is the Surge Tech under your department?
Yes, we fund the Surge Tech. The health department funds the instructors, which is Patty Sumner and that group, and then we
Yeah.
provide the stipends for the trainees.
Is there any other type of specialty you think we might be able to get into?
That was talked about at the first meeting, that they're looking at some other training that they
Yeah.
can do that could be short-term that we could do. We're looking at rearranging some of our facilities. We're looking at the Otero building for moving into that, and then doing some of the IT on the upstairs where Patty was. So we're working on that right now.
And we're talking Leaves Job Corps. Does it have any type of health related?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes.
Good. All right.
Any questions?
Any other questions for Ms. Kelly?
I have.
Yes.
Diane, what other
Sure.
programs are you thinking about? I mean, medically related. I mean, can we offer our own coding programs? I think that might be a.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That was one of the things that we're looking at. We needed to know exactly how many positions that they were looking at, and Dr. Grimm gave us a listing of what they're going to look at for the first year, the second year, so that way we could actually start working after the first of the year for the spring semester for some of those students that we could put in there for that pipeline. So we're real excited about it. And then Jared Welch in the IT department, they also have some needs for some of the IT positions that are going to be needed. One of the areas they talked about was the electrical maintenance area, because once they get that facility built, they're going to have several mechanical maintenance, not housekeeping and not just maintenance people. They're going to have some people that have some skills and some training. So we're actually going to be working at, looking at those areas as well.
Good question. Any other question, Ms. Kelly? Well, saying none,
Thank you.
Have a warm and Merry Christmas.
Oh, we will. We'll be here to eat tomorrow.
Okay, all right. All right, next, Executive Director's Report. We got Ms. Jennifer Pigeon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ron's out, but he sent me a couple of notes that he wanted to share with you. The first one about the college resources, college and career nights that we had. We had one here in Tahlequah. We had about 180 in attendance, so we were excited about that. The second one we had was in Veneta at the Craig County Fairgrounds and had more than 120 in attendance in that area. So we're thanking all the staff and all the schools and representatives that came out to help us. We did have a presentation by FAFSA. The local VOTEC representatives came in and talked about the programs they offer. We shared some space with Career Services. Then we also shared the programs that College Resources offers. The important part that we've got going on right now is the scholarship deadline is December the 28th to renew for spring. So if you guys can help us spread that word, the concurrent students are applying online. And so that application's out there. Or been
Is
there
that a
since October.
midnight deadline?
Be 11:59
Yeah.
Central Time on December 28th.
December 28th.
And then the undergraduates, graduates, and promise students will just email their community service and transcripts to their advisor. So by the time deadline comes, we'll have sent them 4 emails, just kind of letting them know. We've also put a postcard in the U.S. mail, so they've got some paper too to see that deadline. Just a couple of stats that we have thought were interesting this year. We funded 333 different colleges and universities throughout the United States. And we represent 36 different states. So that was something we found interesting this year. It's probably been similar to that in different years, but that's kind of the highest we've had. 333 universities and 36 states.
Wow.
And so that's all I have from him. And then Verna is also not able to make it today, so if you have any Head Start questions, I can take those too.
Yes, Councilman Warner.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair. This is kind of just for everybody's information. I don't know how many are aware. You know, when they, about a year ago at the state level, it seemed like they were picking on the K through 12 as the funding and you know, and that still continues on. Just wanted to give you an update on where they're at with the colleges, your state schools and stuff, since it's kind of funny that, you know, for us, we've got 850 jobs out there, and most of those jobs are going to be tied in some way or another to higher education. Right now, your higher ed, you're looking at probably about a 32% cut in your state schools across the board. We are now at 1999 funding. You know, and if that really, you know, here we are in 2017 and we're at the funding level that we were in 99. But we have an initiative to, you know, we need better health care, we need all these other things that directly ties in. So that puts into perspective of what we do to help these students. But the newest, they have a task force out there. One of those things, I think it's beneficial to us. Chief Baker, he is one of those that is on that task force for higher ed. But they basically, this task force was sent to the chancellor. The governor said, hey, this is what I want. When you look at these things, one of the latest things that come out of the governor's office, a lot of executive orders. One of the latest ones that hit as of last week and the week before last was the consolidation of your regents. A lot of your schools, like we have our own board of regents at Carl Albert, a lot of your other ones, well, they're looking to do away, and they named several that they would do away with and start swooping these under. That's just the beginning to look at consolidating some of these efforts down. And what really affects us on our level, and I know it will in some of your other schools like Rogers State and some of the things, is the amount of funding that we get for our foundations and stuff like that. If you don't have direct tie-in on your regent level to people that are in that area, what happens to those scholarship dollars? You know, because they're like, well, if our regents aren't going to be there to help govern this, we're not, you know, I'm not giving $50,000 for this endowment or some of these other things. I mean, that's just one of those hypothetical situations that you can see happening. So, you know, if you've got some, you know, if you know people at the Capitol, you know, I know K through 12's been in a debacle for a while. When they start talking about consolidating 2-year institutions with the technology centers, well, if you don't know, technology centers, they get ad valorem money, okay, to help run. That's why they've got good salary. Hey, ad valorem money goes to your public schools as well. add one more entity into that piece of that pie, and what happens to, now you're starting to even take more away from your public schools and stuff, because now they would have to share it with the two-year institution. This is kind of the direction that it looks like a lot of things are being pushed. There's a lot of posturing, there's a lot of political gamesmanship, governor's on our way out, there's things that's going on there, but that just to give you an update on some of the things that I deal with outside of here that affects us directly, because the job that Jennifer and Ron and all of them are tasked to do, it's going to get a little harder because they're leaning on us already. They're going to lean a little harder. So, thank you.
That's a good report. Councilman Crittenden?
Yeah, Jennifer, I talked to Ron I think last week about, had a school counselor call me, and she was looking at the part where they can't count school clubs as their community service. And we were visiting, and I agreed with her that, the time that they would be at school anyway, I can see that not counting. But, they do a lot of Saturday morning pancake breakfast or what have you. But he said he'd look into that and kind of discuss, if that was our policy that we could kind of tweak. Because it kind of made sense to me. The counselor was, she had a lot of kids that done stuff after hours that they weren't able to report. So if he could just
I'll
have
visit
him
with
update
him.
me on that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have.
Yes, Speaker Burke?
Yes, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Some time ago, we lost one of our managers in the education department. I think her name was Amanda Scott, is that right?
Yes.
What was her position?
She was manager of college resources.
Okay, we have not filled that position.
Not yet.
Okay, that was about a year ago. Are we intending on filling that position?
I believe so, yes. We were kind of transitioning software, and some of the application programs were getting redone, so we wanted to transition through that before we filled that.
She was good to work with. She's very knowledgeable on scholarships and very good to communicate with, and I see where that's probably fell on you and Mr. Etheridge now.
It has. It's kind of been a good eye-opening experience for both of us in transitioning the software and catching up on the budgets and the numbers and everything, so.
Okay. Well, keep us posted, because we probably need to get that load off of you guys, and so you guys can do what you need to do.
Yeah, we'll get you an update on that too.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hey, Councilman Warder, we had a conversation about a work group being formed about a replacement for the scholarship,
Promise.
was it the Promise?
Well, we had the work group for concurrent enrollment, but then I'd also had several calls about.
The Cherokee Promise?
Yes.
Yes. And something that may be in lieu of some similar program. Are you still interested of maybe having a work group to maybe just come up with something, or?
Absolutely. And I don't think that we really got very far with our concurrent, did we, Dick? No, I mean, it's still, the matter's still unresolved that we were looking at there as well.
Yeah.
So,
So we're still trying to work through
Yeah.
the concurrent
Yeah.
enrollment as well. What do you guys want to continue to try to just get the concurrent resolved and then go to the Cherokee Promise, or you want to?
I would say one bite at a time would
Bite
be
at a
good.
time.
Yep.
When do you guys want to meet again on that concurrent enrollment? We'll meet before next month, or in that dead time between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock on council.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that we haven't done anything change, so our concurrent will go forward as it is right now, correct?
That's our plan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then if we do it before in January sometime, or any time but now to then, I'm
Okay.
not opposed to any.
When's the deadline? January?
December 28th,
December
renewal for
28th.
spring.
Okay. All right. Well, let's, you guys want to meet at 4 o'clock then? At the, when's your next meeting next, Council?
We have, community service starts at 4.
Starts at
On
4, so it'll be
Mondays.
5 o'clock meeting then.
our January meetings,
Yes.
the 15th, I believe. Let me look.
15.
The 15th.
Okay, you guys want to meet then 15th at 5 p.m.?
Sure.
Who all was on there? Is you and I, Sean,
Mary was on there.
Mary,
Yeah, and Dick.
Dick? Is that it?
You want to meet today? Excuse me. Mr.
No,
Chairman.
we don't. I mean, we don't have to. Did you guys want to? You guys want to meet today?
Opposed?
5 o'clock?
5. Okay. Yes, Councilman Creighton.
We were pretty close to coming up with an idea of what we were wanting to lay out there on the concurrent. So is it too late to come up with something and lay that out there in January?
That's Jennifer.
I don't know.
We would meet to vote in January, which would be too late for
Right.
the coming semester. It would have to
It would,
go to
Be
the,
this fall.
for the next fall.
Yes.
Yep. So whatever we do,
We were pretty
Yeah.
close.
If we
Okay.
go ahead and do today in January, we could have everything published in the application that's released in February for the upcoming fall.
Okay. So we got a couple months to work with.
well, I think we should meet today to get
Okay.
our
Okay.
book act together,
right,
to help them
Okay.
plan.
okay, yep, yep,
Make sense?
yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Yep, that sounds good. So we'll meet today, and then we'll meet on the 15th at 5. Is that good, Shelley? Okay. Can you put that in your calendar?
Send you a calendar.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Jennifer? Seeing none, good report.
Thank you.
Have a good Christmas. Next, we got Sequoia High School Superintendent Leroy Qualls.
Well, Merry Christmas. Hope everyone has a happy holiday season this year. Tried to talk Diane to come in with me, but she would not bite. Hopefully you've got my report here with you. I'm just going to touch on a couple of things there on it, and I'm going to go on to some other things, and if you've got questions, I'll go back. We hosted a state playoff football game a couple of weeks back during Thanksgiving holidays, and we set an all-time record at the gate during that game. It was 2.5 times bigger than any gate we'd ever taken before, and that was in the state quarterfinals. And that was a good deal. The bad deal is we've got an open stadium, and it was hard to manage, if you would. But anyway, I wanted to mention that because our kids had a great year, and our coaches did a good job. Freshman basketball teams are off and rolling. The boys have only lost one. The girls haven't lost yet. And you've got that there, and I'm going to skip down to the supplemental things that's happened. Saturday night, we had a wrestler, Noah Bennett, that won first place in the heavyweight division at Bentonville West, Arkansas. Noah, he's a big kid. He's a big teddy bear. He's a great kid. He also, on Friday, won his 100th high school match, which is pretty good. Yeah, he's done an outstanding job for us since he's come to us. Our Sequoia Indians basketball team won first place at the Tahlequah Invitational this past weekend. We had 2 all-tournament players. Bobby Cade was all-tournament, and Adam Sane was selected as the MVP for the tournament. The Indians defeated Prep Life of Wichita, Kansas in the finals. Lady Indians finished third, defeating El Reno, and we had a girl make the all-tournament team, Lexi Keys. Also, the other nights, you guys were in the parade, and I hear it was really good. I was at the tournament because we were playing up there, and our Pride of Sequoia marching band took first place in the parade the other night. Really proud of what our band has accomplished this year. They have a concert tonight at 6:30, and they've got a couple of other functions. They're supposed to go to OK tomorrow night, and they're supposed to have a school concert Wednesday. Our band director's mother passed away, and so he's going to do the concert tonight, and go be with his family. So I thought I'd mention that in case some of you went to the OK Parade. That way you would know that our band cannot be there. I missed seeing you last month, first time in a long time, but we did have a Bureau of Indian Affairs audit at our school. That was pretty extensive. It went Monday, finished up Friday afternoon. First thing they checked for was CDIB cards, making sure the kids had a CDIB card, and to be able to certify them, which ties into the funding that we get from the BIE. Also, they did dorm student certification, special education certification through all the spending, gifted and talented program. They checked teacher certification, just as the state does when they come in. And they did background checks for all employees to make sure that we're, clean and where we need to be as far as character and doing a good job. So during the exit interview, it went very well. We have not gotten a report back from them yet, and probably will not for a few more weeks. But the preliminary report is that everything looks really good. And this is not on my report, but Mr. Etheridge and I went to Anadarko last Tuesday to the tribal consultation. President Trump has ordered the Bureau of Indian Education to have a strategic plan put in place. And I looked at their document, and boy, I'm happy to say that at Sequoia, we've been doing the organizational piece that they've been doing for a number of years. But they're looking at more accountability for them and getting the solicitors, if you would, and the BIE people upstream from us more involved with our children's education, which is a good thing. But it was a good meeting. I don't know where it's going to go, but we'll know in the future, sometime in the future. And that pretty much concludes my report, unless you've got any questions for me.
Yes, Speaker Bird.
I just want to say real quick, I want to appreciate the band come down Saturday to the Marble City Parade. I watched them before. They were talking to some of the younger kids, and they were getting a kick out of it, and the students were very well behaved. They represented the school very good, and they made the parade. They did a good job.
Well, I'm proud to say that they went to Marble City.
They went to Marble.
When is your next school board meeting?
It will be January 4th.
January 4th.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's usually the first Monday, but this year it's a holiday, so
Would
it'll
you
be.
ask your board to do a resolution in support of our, he's not a mascot, he's our caller, and just recognizing him, and then I'll follow up in the rules to allow him, no other school has anybody like him. And I was going to do a resolution from this end to let him get into all of our ball games free of charge.
Okay.
He's a special person in his own way. And second, next month when you report, would you let me know if Sequoia High School is eligible to make that school board more than just an advisory board?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to know that, because if all the other schools out there have their school board that are able to make decisions without the bureaucracy that we have here, it'd be interesting to look at that, see if that's something we want to do.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Qualls, do you know how many BIA contract schools such as yourself have self-governing school board?
I would have to research that. I'd hate to speak out of turn. I would need to research that.
Maybe give Tony Dearman a call or someone, and
Sure.
he may know that answer.
Or Catherine Fothery.
Or Catherine Pollard, yeah. Any other questions?
When's your next ball game?
Basketball. That'll be Shrine Tournament, first week of January. We've got 3 teams in it, and I think 2 teams play on Tuesday night, 1 team plays on Thursday. If you'd like, I could send Miss Miller the brackets by email and she could forward them out to you.
All right, good report. Have a Merry Christmas, Mr. Squall.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Join us tomorrow.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned
Eating
that.
contest here tomorrow.
Last year I didn't get to come down because I went to the legislative update. And again, they're having that tomorrow. We're talking about school leaders getting reports from the state legislators. And that's at Broken Arrow, NSU Broken Arrow campus tomorrow from 11 to 2. And typically the legislators talk after the luncheon part, which is around 12:30. So if any of you are up that way, I don't know. It's always seems like doom and gloom, but you know, at least they can give you firsthand information.
Thank you, Mr. Squall. Old business, none pending. New business, none pending. Is there any announcements? Seeing none, next meeting is January 15th at 3 o'clock. Hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.